from sundown to sunset. Now.
Rickford Field is the oldest active professional baseball park in the country. It was built in 1910. Coincidentally, it was inspired by Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, where a lot of Negro Leagues history was also made. Who knew that it would become such hallowed ground? Because it has bared history to not only many great major league moments and many great major league ball players, but it was also home for the Negro League's Birmingham Black Barons, another team born out of the ashes of American segregation that brought great joy to the African-American community there in Birmingham for many, many years. It is a majestic old stadium, and I'll never forget walking on those grounds for the very first time. Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Buck O'Neal, they all played on that field. And man, if those walls could talk, how special it would be. Willie Mays, who as a 17-year-old walked on that very same field, patrolling center field for the Birmingham Black Barons. No one would have guessed that this budding, inspiring ball player would become recognized, arguably, as Major League Baseball's greatest player.
Young Willie Mays steps into the box, all of 17 years old. And a foul ball.
Boog, we talk a lot about how Willie Mays was a five-tool player. People focus on his fielding, his hitting, his speed, but you know, they forget about his arm. He actually started out as a shortstop, but threw so hard it hurt to catch his throws over at first base, so he got moved to the outfield.
Hayes over at second. Miller at first. 2 out of the inning. High fly ball right field. Thompson in position, and that'll do it. You bring up Willie's throwing arm, Singy. It was no joke. When Birmingham manager Piper Davis gave Willie a tryout, he got to look up close. Piper said, "I heard he had a good arm, then I saw him throw." Clearly, Piper learned that Willie's arm was way better than just good. So Mays gets himself a single.
Where I grew up in the country, you know how you learn to swim? They threw you in the pond. And you either sank or you swam. And that was much the case for these young athletes as they were moving into the Negro Leagues. You got thrown right into the pond with those older ball players, and you can either play or you can't play. Now, Willie Mays was a tremendous athlete. He's quarterback in high school. Ultimately, he had to cut deal with the high school so that he wouldn't lose his eligibility for football. This is a 17-year-old kid playing with grown men, and he more than held his own.
Keep your eyes on me.
They kind of eased him into it early on, but you can't hold that kind of talent down. No, this talent was just exploding at the seams. As a matter of fact, his first game with the Birmingham Black Barons, young Willie Mays collected 2 hits. On the way to what was about to become one of the most dynamic careers in baseball history.
Willie Mays digging in with a runner on first and one gone. Well struck left field. Got it. Great leaping catch.
Willie Mays had two role models as a kid for how to play baseball. Joe DiMaggio and Willie's dad, Cat Mays, who was a steel worker and a star outfielder on the company team in the Birmingham Industrial League.
Down the line, Walker, long run, tries to make the play, but it's foul. In the air, right field, Walker settles under this one, makes the grab, and that'll end the inning. One down. Willie Mays getting ready to hit. Swings through that.
Willie Mays had two role models as a kid for how to play baseball. Joe DiMaggio and Willie's dad, Cat Mays, who was a steel worker and a star outfielder on the company team in the Birmingham Industrial League.
Walker makes the grab, two-away down.
Cat Mays really gave Willie his love.
And here is Willie Mays. Runner on the goal. That's in for a strike. Safe at second with a stolen base. And that one hammered. That's back. And just like the ex-girlfriend who ain't coming back, that one is gone. In the air, right side, Walker has this one sized up, squeezes it, and there are two down. And first offering is fouled off. One down, base is empty.
1 ball, 1 strike.
The pitch. On the ground to third. Fires over to first. Mays retired at first. That one is hammered right field. That's back there. And just like the ex-girlfriend who ain't. Willie Mays steps to the plate with a chance to do some damage for Birmingham. Swing and a base hit. Murray around third. The throw is offline and he's in to score. And they lead by 2.
A lot of people consider Willie Mays the greatest player of all time. His longtime manager Leo DeRocher once said, if somebody came up and hit 450, stole 100 bases, and performed a miracle in the field every day, I'd still look you right in the eye and tell you that Willie was better.
All loaded up, dangerous hitter at the plate. Hit in the air, center field. Newman under it. Brings it in. Runner tagging from third. He'll score on the sac fly, and it's 3-1. Ernie Banks said that Willie stood head and shoulders above every other player and that it was a thrill to play against him. Willie McCovey said it was an honor to wear the same uniform. And Henry Aaron even considered Willie a better all-around ball player than himself. Newman pulls it down, and there's two gone.
Even as a high schooler, you could tell Willie was special. The scout who discovered him for the Giants said, they got a kid playing center field practically barefooted that's the best ball player I've ever looked at. You better send somebody down there with a barrel full of money and grab this kid.
Throws to first in time. That ends the frame. Here's some real power at the plate. Willie Mays. Line drive, and that should be extra bases. Murray headed for the plate. One run across.
Well, what made Willie Mays so special was that he was a five-tool kind of baseball player, and he did everything with grace and flair. As my friend Buck O'Neill would say, he was better than that.
But the crowd still loved Willie.
Willie Mays was never booed, even in the opponent's ballpark. That's the reverence that people had for Willie Mays, because he was so affable and he was so likable. Here's Willie Mays walking through the streets of Harlem, playing stickball with the kids. I mean, how special would that be to see that happen today? So you combine all of that with off-the-chart talent. You can see why Willie Mays is so beloved. People measure times in their lives by Willie Mays. They named their kids after Willie Mays. That's how special he was.
Willie Mays digs in with a chance to break this one open early for the Black Barons. Drake back to work. Check swing, appeal to first. No swing, just held it back there. And another ball.
Willie Mays was really beloved across all of baseball. In his last game before joining the Army, he got a standing ovation in his last at-bat, even though the game was at Ebbets Field, home of the Dodgers. One writer said it was amazing because in Brooklyn, Giant is the dirt.
A year the Stars reached new milestones and rewrote the record book.
Well, Willie Mays is easily one of the most iconic figures in baseball history. But before he was the Say Hey Kid, his nickname was Buck, Young Buck. 1948 Negro League World Series, the Birmingham Black Barons are facing those vaunted Homestead Grays that were still a juggernaut. And can you imagine at 17, you're in the midst of a Negro League World Series as a 17-year-old, and you're right in the middle of the action.
Far back, the ball it in.
And there's young Willie Mays helping the Barons win the lone game that they won in that series with a walk-off.
This is it, what? Lucini pouring from the sky, let's get rich, what?
I am sure it ranks as one of those special moments out of a career that is filled with many special moments. But at 17, you walk it off in a Negro League World Series game. That's pretty doggone special.
Willie Mays up now with an opportunity to walk this one off for Birmingham.
And one.
No ball, one strike.
Well, he knows they don't want to give him anything to hit, but when you've got opportunities to drive in runs, you've got to expand the zone. He's capable of going out there and doing
So 2 down. Willie Mays now at the plate. Ripped on a line. In there. That'll do it. Ball game. Mays brings home the winning.
My dear friend, the late great Buck O'Neil, would say without hesitation that Willie Mays was the greatest major leaguer that he ever saw. Oh, John Donaldson, one of the greatest left-handed pitchers this sport has ever seen, knew the game of baseball inside out. So it was no coincidence that after his baseball career, he would become a scout, a great scout, because he had a tremendous eye for talent. And I guess you could say the big fish that got away was Willie Mays. And he knew young Willie Mays had superstardom written all over. Not stardom, but superstardom. And I think the legendary John Donaldson knew that he would never find another Willie Mays.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
And the fans go wild.
Willie Mays steps in for the first time in this one. There's so many legends about Willie Mays. One of my favorites is the story he told about the only time he played against Satchel Paige. Willie was just 17, but he says he hit a double against Satchel the first time up. O'Neal underneath it. Calls it in for the out. And there are 2 outs. Willie Mays steps in for the first time in this one. Hammered down the line, and now maybe extra bases. And they strike first as they take a 1-0 lead. And he'll pull into second safely.
Long before the catch was made there in the Polo Grounds, young Willie Mays had been patrolling center field for the Birmingham Black Barons. 1949 is when he plays his first game there. But this wasn't uncommon for Negro League teams. Negro League teams were oftentimes playing in Major League stadiums. They would rent those stadiums, and that is part of the reason why it took so long to integrate the game, because Major League teams were making money from the Negro Leagues. So Willie Mays had been patrolling that spacious Polo Ground center field, where I can tell you now, you needed the legs of Willie Mays to patrol center field in the Polo Grounds. When that ball went up, they were all yelling, "Go get it, Willie." And Willie went and got it. But the thing that is oftentimes overlooked, and it speaks to the cerebral nature of Willie Mays, was the throw that prevented the runners from advancing. Gives you an idea of how in tune Willie Mays was into that moment. The Giants, of course, would go on and capture that World Series beating another former Negro Leaguer, Larry Doby, and the Cleveland Indians.
So here's Murphy now. Martin back to work. There's a long drive way back in center field. Mays racing for it. He got it. Willie Mays just brought this crowd to its feet with a tremendous catch. And he's in safely at third with one out. Twenty-year-old Willie Mays steps in with a runner at first and 2 gone here in the first inning. Out to short, Paul. They get the force, and that is that. And first offering is fouled off. Here's a fun nugget on Willie Mays. In 1954, he played winter ball with the Santurce Crabbers in Puerto Rico. One of his outfield teammates was a young Roberto Clemente.
Well, not a lot of singles getting stretched into doubles against them.
And just like the ex-girlfriend who ain't coming back, that one is gone. First pitch swinging.
Hard to imagine Willie not thinking he could succeed at the major league level, but when the Giants called him up, he didn't want to go. He didn't think he could hit big league pitching, but he was hitting .477 in AAA at the time.
The San Francisco Giants had the major's first all-black outfield. All 3 players were former Negro League stars. Hank Thompson, who was actually an infielder by trade, Willie Mays, and of course the great Monty Irvin. That was a tremendous outfield. But it also makes me reflect back to the fact that $25 kept us from having an outfield that could have been Willie Mays, Henry Aaron, and Monty Irvin. The Braves offered Henry Aaron $25 more a month. They outbidded the Giants, and Henry Aaron took the Braves' offer $25. But maybe it worked out the way that it was supposed to work out, because those 2 legendary former Negro League stars blazed their own paths to stardom. But I can tell you now, if you'd have had a lineup that had Henry Aaron, Willie Mays, and Monty Irvin in it would have been a nightmare for everybody they played. It just leads you to wonder what if.
Here's Willie Mays stepping in for the first time in this one.
You know, Willie Mays bookended his pro career with World Series appearances. He went in 1951 with the Giants and in 1973 with the Mets. And his first pro season with Birmingham took him to the Negro League World Series.
So 2 down. Willie Mays digs in now. And the first pitch misses for ball 1.
You know, Willie Mays bookended his pro career with World Series appearances. He went in 1951 with the Giants and in 1973 with the Mets. And his first pro season with Birmingham took him to the Negro League World Series.
And that's outside. 2-1. Here's a story about Willie's character. When Peter McGowan bought the Giants in 1993, he gave Willie a lifetime contract. Several years later, Willie asked McGowan for an extension on his lifetime deal. That was so he could make sure his wife May was provided for if he passed away before she did. Leonard tracks it down for the out.
Mays was great defensively at first base late in his career. After he robbed a bunch of hits against the Mets, as a 40-year-old, Mets manager Gil Hodges said, "I can't tell my players not to hit it to him. Wherever they hit it, he's there anyway."
Makes the catch. That's out number 2. That's hard hit on the line. Murray makes the grab, and there's 2 gone. The right-hander back to work. And that one is lifted in the air. No trouble here. Puts it away for the out. 1 down. Willie Mays will hit next. Ripped towards third. Matthews gets it to first. And the inning is over. Here's Willie Mays stepping in for the first time in this one. Out to short. Hill tosses to first. Play made. That ends the inning. So 2 down. Here's a big power threat. Willie Mays. In the air, left field. Murray on the move. And makes the play, and that's out number 3. Stepping in, the long ball threat, Willie Mays. Swung on, belted. Giving chase. And it one-hops the wall. Around second now as they still don't have it. Mays flying around third. Not in time. He makes it safe.
Tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus.
Segregation robbed us from seeing all the great stars take the field together.
I can't hold the frown too long. I can't stay down too long.
As baseball fans, we were absolutely cheated. How much better would our game have been? But what segregation also did was it created this enterprise known as the Negro Leagues. So while Rickwood Field once upon a time had been segregated, who knew that it would be Birmingham's blackberries that would actually become the toast of Birmingham? As we celebrate Rickwood Field and all the history that made Rickwood Field such a special place, but no one made it more special than the Negro Leagues. And there's been no more special of a ball player than Willie Mays. First ballot Hall of Famer. Should have been unanimous. But the bridge for him to the major leagues began in the Negro Leagues, right here in this very ballpark, Rickwood Field.
11 gold gloves for his electrifying play in center field. His 660 home runs are third all time. Say hey, Willie Mays!
I know couple things I show, couple things I don't.